Welcome to an English episode of Joyful and Alive, the podcast that reconnects. So 2019, I went to live in Orwell in India to explore deep ecology, and I never planned on doing this, but I ended up training with MediClown Academy for 4 months, which was so essential for me to embody deep ecology. And my mentor and the founder of the academy, Fif Fernandes, is who I'm talking with today. And we talk about the meaning of the clown, and maybe if you're not familiar with medical clowning, you have a very different picture of what a clown actually does. Because we talk about how the clown breaks the patterns, brings out the truth, and how through clowning we can cultivate joy and love. And Fif also shares some incredible stories, how she worked with prisoners and soldiers and really shifted the energy and letting them allow to play, to laugh and love. And we also talk about how we can incorporate some of these elements into our daily lives through movement, breath, laughter, and how we can make deeper heart-to-heart connections. Enjoy. Okay, I have one question I always start with. What do you love about being alive?
Oh my God, I love being alive. That's what I love about being alive. Because every time I look out and I breathe in whatever's in front of me, honestly, Elena, it lights me up. It totally lights me up. But, maybe because I am a medical clown, I see the spirit in things, or at least I try to see the spirit in things. And the spirit is joyful. There's joy that's there. And sometimes, even in the midst of great sadness, there is a spark. And that spark, whether I'm with someone who is very sick or someone who is dying, there's something that's still there that is connected to the earth or connected towards the other person. But there's a really, really powerful, strong connection. And that's what I love. So whether it's sheer joy and jumping for joy and leaping and being happy, or whether it's just sitting very quietly with someone or at the base of a tree, just breathing in life is beautiful for me.
Thank you. Oh, I can feel just listening by this. It makes me like more calm and just relaxes my nervous system, I guess. So I was thinking maybe going back to where we met because that makes this connection how we even end up here in this podcast. Yeah, and to give some context. So I was just it was my first month in Oroville in India. I will talk in another episode more about Oroville because that can fill up a lot of. But for now, it's not the focus. So I was there and I had this volunteering project in the forest, and there was the Joy Festival, like a little gathering with workshops, and I did like Thai yoga massage workshop and just different stuff. And then in the middle of this festival, without having this own room for workshop space, people were like walking around, laughing a lot, looking at each other, doing some like playful movements. And I had no idea actually what's going on there, but I felt like the urge, like, yeah, let's just join. What I really remember was a lot laughter, but it was also eye contact a lot. It got really deep and there was a lot of joy. And I felt so high after this. I felt like I don't know what I smoked, but I didn't take anything, but whoa, something like my energy got, moving, and I realized, wow, I was so serious about everything, and something really opened up in me in this session. And then I went to you after this. And I was like, wow, it was amazing. Where do you give workshops? I want to join again. And you're like, well, we meet Mondays to Fridays from, I don't know, 9 to 12. You can come every day, you know? I was like, oh, because I expected you say, oh, this one Saturday we do another class. And then I thought, well, I have this project already, but I think I just have to come. I have to make it happen. And I talked to project and everything. And then I spent 4 months with you doing MediClowning then. And I really had no idea what this means. Yeah, but yeah, do you remember anything from that
Oh,
day?
yes, I do. I do. As a matter of fact, I do recall one of the things that we were doing. Just a small group of us. There's, I think, about six of us. And the first thing that we do is we breathe in love. You breathe in love. And as you breathe in love, what comes out? Love, right? So it's that inhale and that exhale. And that's what grounds us. And it's what grounds us into Mother Earth and pulls us up to Father Sky. That's the terminology I use. And it was at the Joy Festival in an area that is now called Serendipity, I think, right? And we had a beautiful outdoor space. And we were astonished that so many people were attracted. I think there was something like 40, 45 people in this little outdoor space. And because we just ebb and flow with what's there, and you feel the love, and you're right, you're not physically, smoking or toking up something, but you are inhaling, and you are inhaling deep, deep love for yourself. When you have eye contact with someone, more often than not, when we set that context, you find the deep love in someone else, and that is mirrored and reflected back to you. And when you're breathing that in, it then is like a virus, right? A good virus. It then just spreads. It's contagious. So it's not just, we say, laughter is contagious. It's not just laughter, it's love, it's peace, it's joy. When you bring that into your entire being, it just spreads out. And then, as I think you probably experienced, you were hugging people, and it wasn't in a yucky, or woo 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 sort of feel. It was very much in a grounded sense that we had a shared experience together. That coupled with the fact that we happened to be in Oroville, and I know you'll talk about Oroville later, but I just want to mention at this point, Oroville was built on human unity when this beautiful woman called the mother, that we call her mother, but she is Mira Alphonse, um, had a vision where she believed that there needed to be somewhere on earth that belonged to no one and yet belonged to everyone. And so people in 1968 came together with a handful of soil, they buried it together for this vision. And now, some 50 years later, you also were one of those people, came as a student and buried your mound of dirt, your mound of earth, your mound of joy, your mound of everything with everyone that was there. And yeah, I, like you, started at Pachendakulam Forest, right? Where we were doing deep environmental work. But when I went there, I said, well, don't quite know how to do environmental work, but Joss, can I do internal environment? And they said, yeah. So I started to do the internal environment. And of course, the internal and the external come together. And that's the yoga. It's the union of.
Maybe you can say a bit more about what MediClown Academy or what MediClowning actually is, because I guess most people listening don't know yet.
I love the fact that you said yet. It is one of the things that we need to bring awareness to. So for me, Medi means the art of healing. So medical is the art of healing. It's not just the allopathy, the medicine that we go to if we go to a quote unquote allopathic regular doctor. So, MediClown Academy is we take the art of healing through clowning. And for me, clowning, first of all, is very, very deep hearted connection. How do I connect, first of all, with myself? How do I connect with my personal environment? And then how do I connect with the person who's across from me or beside me or even behind me? I might not see them, but I can feel them. So, MediClown Academy is really about connection. It's about spreading love. It's about sharing joy, love, laughter intentionally at a very deep level to heal ourselves and to heal our planet and to heal each other. And what we did in MediClown Academy, and we still do, is we offer courses and classes. But people think, oh, I'm just going to come and I'm going to do some funny stuff and I'm going to fall over and everyone's going to laugh. And it's much more. Would you say, Elena?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's what I meant when I said earlier I think I would have never like signed up to do clowning because I have, and I think many people have just this circus clown. I do funny balloons and it's fun for kids and more like superficial. But for me, it was really a personal healing journey. And yeah, that's so interesting how through play and laughter, what it does with the body and within the body, what energies can move, or it brought me so much deeper than I could have ever thought of.
What you're saying is does not surprise me. Initially, when I started to do workshops, when people said things like, oh my God, I learned to love myself or I was healed, I thought that I was such a failure at doing clowning and being a teacher that teaches this work or an educator that draws this out. And then I realized that no, before we can go out into the world, we need to heal ourselves. And what has now, I mean, it surprises me, but it doesn't, because whenever we do workshops, that is the number one thing that people say. I learned to love myself, or I gained more confidence, where I thought, oh my God, they're supposed to be funny. And that's not it. That's a byproduct when you're having fun and you're filled with joy and you're loving life. The funny that comes out is a byproduct. But also, sometimes it's not about being funny. It's about those poignant, real moments like little kids. They're not going out to be funny, but all of a sudden they say something or they fall or they do something. And it's through that authenticity and through that innocence that we're filled with joy and we laugh because it is funny, but it's joyful. What was something that was profound for you? Because I know you had this challenge because you came to do deep ecology. And then you were also with us doing the work that we were doing. And at one point, I had a conversation with the unit that you were with, and they said, "Yes, let's have Lena come over and do the medi clowning." But on a certain day, you had to go back and be with them. And we found a balance. We did find a balance. I thought we did.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I wanted to do deep ecology. I really didn't know that much about that at that point, which was really funny. I don't even know where this idea came from that I really want to do this. Yeah, it was hard for me to, it felt for me still too superficial, this environmental education. I didn't want to be with people and tell them, oh, this is that tree and this is this plant. This is not my style. I was more like about really, yeah, really feeling connected and not just, knowing that plant, but maybe have an emotion with it or being there with the body. And I felt like in clowning or what, I had a feeling, yeah, this is the way to really connect deeper. And in a bigger picture, when do people make a change? Not because someone tells a fact and they think, oh, that fact, it's if it doesn't touch you, you're not going to change anything. Like looking at a bigger picture for like environment and how we, not just how we are with nature, how we are with ourselves, how we treat other people. It has to move somehow through the body. If we just get stuck in thoughts, I think it's not enough to really make a change. And that was for me, I think, just one thing I found in wow, in clowning, yeah, so much energy is moving and there's this connection. You could talk probably like 10 hours about the science behind it and you learn something, or you can experience it and really feel it. Yeah, there was just something I felt like this is my way of doing this work.
I want to veer off, but I'll come back because one of the things you said is having that experience, right? And that's so key. How do you make a shift? Because we can make a shift in our head, but then it stays in our head. How do we embody that shift and have that transformation at a deep level? And again, this was in Oroville, and I was doing something at the Sustainable Livelihood Institute, and we had refugees that had come from Sri Lanka, and this was the first time that they had left Sri Lanka, and there had been a 30-year war that was there. And they did one session with Hamish and myself, and it was a laughter session. And we again had people lay on the ground afterwards and integrate it through the yoga. And out of whatever, I think there was like 25, 27 people, and the comment that we got from 22 was, this was more powerful than any talk therapy. We are so talked out. Everyone talks, 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 talks. But in this hour and a half that we spent with you, we released so much. And there was such a shift and a transformation. Now, that was on the day. And then afterwards, after a month or 2 months, I didn't keep up with them after 2 months, but they still felt that. And I think you're right. There is something remarkable when you can go in and feel the excavation of those yuck feelings. That's my scientific word, those yuck feelings. And you can bring in that peace, that love, that joy, where you're not just talking about it or the science about it, but you're actually embodying it with others in community. And then you take that community feel and you can reproduce it individually in your sadhana, which is your practice or your yoga, right? Alina, I just want to add too that the joy is not just through clowning. It can be through any modality where you're moving. It can be through drawing, through singing, through walking in the forest, through dancing, through anything. But it needs to have, you're absolutely right, that movement. Because when you shift your motion, you shift your emotion, right? Or vice versa. And that's one of the acting exercises that we did. When you're hunched over and you're walking slowly, what happens to your voice? It comes like this. And when you straighten up and throw your shoulders back and have eye contact, what happens? It shifts.
So maybe can you tell me a bit more, what does the clown do? What is the role of the clown? Like, why the clown? Why not just dancing, like you said? What's the special thing about the clown?
That's a very good question. And I think everyone has their own version of a clown, also their own aversion of a clown, because some people don't like clowns. They hate them. They want to stay away from them. And when people see the clown that I have and the clowns that I work with and the gentleness, but they can be really out there and brash and all sorts of things, but they suit the environment and they suit the people that they're there. There's a match. So for me, with medical clowning, I have three different clowns, by the way. One is my medical clown, right? One is my community clown. My community clown is very, very saucy. She's very, very bossy. She's very this. She wears a little Scottish tartan, and she will tell you exactly what she thinks you need to hear because she shifts and changes society just like that. That's all there is to it. Do you get it? And she can just go into a completely different realm. And then I have another beautiful clown. She's a fairy. Her name is Shanti Amani Salama, which means peace, peace, peace. And she looks into the eyes of a person, and all she sees is their beautiful spirit. And she hones in on that. So even within my body, I have three different personas of clowns. And my hospital clown is Jumpa, right? And Jumpa is special, love, kind friend. So for me, a clown is what is the intention of the clown? For me, in Jumpa and in Shanti Salama, it is the connection very much to the earth. So they come from very much a shamanistic uh, realm, a background where they build community, they build joy, they build laughter. But in my medical clowning, I might be with someone who has just been in a serious car accident and maybe on the verge of leaving their body and dying. And so at that point, for me, it's to be in that space and to hold the space with everyone that's there and to feel in that moment. So, one thing the clown always does, no matter where you are, whether you're a birthday party clown, a Shriner clown, medical clown, whatnot, is you are present. You have to be present, grounded. And from there, you can do all these other things. The medical clown also, you share joy. Perhaps there might be a distraction. I want to take you into this environment that you're in where there's like doctors and nurses and all these people coming in and out, and they're not even really looking at you. They're looking at your dis-ease. Well, when I come in, guess what? We play. We normalize the environment. We make it fun. We make it joyful so that it's palatable to be at the hospital, right? It's palatable, even though sometimes it's horrible. Now, my community clown, I'm not necessarily there to make things palatable. I want to shake things up. I want to tell a politician, whoa, you can't do that kind of shit. I would never say shit in my hospital clown, right? Or in my clown fairy. But this one is just like, hey, I'm here and I'm gonna be your mirror and I'm gonna be like the king who doesn't wear any clothes. Like I'll call it the way it is. Oh my God! Look at that politician. Look at what they're doing, aren't they? And I'll make fun and I'll do all sorts of things. Whereas the hospital clown is a little more playful and embracing and not abrasive at all, unless I need to be. Where my hospital clown might say to a doctor, if I have or when I have a good relationship with the doctor and we're with a child and the doctor hurts the child, I already have something with the doctor where I'll say, I'm going to spank you with my big spankers. And they know what I'm doing. And I will say to the child, well, do you think we should spank the doctor? And the child will go, uh huh. And so together we spank the doctor. So we break the mold. All clowns break the mold, right? We push, push, push. We push those parameters that are there and we create something that's beautiful and imaginative. And we go there. There's so many different answers because each clown is different. This is my perception. Yeah. My colleagues may say things differently, and that's okay. We're all different. And as I discovered when I went from my role as a therapeutic clown working in emergency, ICU, um, palliative care, transplants at a Canadian hospital, and then I went to India And we started doing things there, not just in the hospital, but on the streets. Because India, where you've got, whatever, 3.4 million people, million, billion, 3.4 billion people, I get my numbers mixed up, billion people, completely, completely different. And so I have to clown differently in India than I do here in a hospital in Canada. But my essence of who I am is the same. The clown is mercurial and is there to bring out the best or the worst in people for the betterment of society.
Thank you. When I think of what I learned from MediClowning, I always think of the breaking the patterns and also looking at someone as wholesome. Like you said, not at the disease or what's wrong with somebody, but always as this whole person who's not broken or anything depending on the circumstances. Yeah, this is just something that really touched me a lot. And didn't you go to Chandigarh, to the prison even there? And then it was not about, oh, these are the prisoners, the bad people, something, but just going, on eye level.
That was one of the most powerful situations that we've been in. And Hamish, who, as you know, is also a co founder of MediClown Academy, and my life partner, my husband, and a musician, we were actually going to go to Tihar, which is the largest prison in all of India. But for some reason, Valentina, one of our other clowns that was with us, didn't have a visa. And she was not, we needed to get special permission because of the visa she had to go there. But the person there connected us to the prison in Chandigarh, and it was a model prison. So, this model prison in Chandigarh, we saw 400 prisoners. And when we went in, it was amazing. They were not in uniform, they were in their normal clothes. Obviously, they were guarded. There was guards along the side and along the front, and we walked through, the three of us, not yeah, the three of us, we walked through, and the stage was, oh my God, it must have been about 12 feet above, so no one could reach us. But when we started with laughter, just to get them engaged with laughter. We did some magic. When I was doing the magic, I asked the guard, can I go down and be with them? And they looked at me and they said, are you crazy? No, you stay up here. I said, okay. But I had a magic bag where they could pull this long, 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 long ribbon out. And I leaned down with a guard on either side. But what we did was we sent out love, and the whole atmosphere with these 400 prisoners and the guards shifted and changed. They were already pretty awesome. And then at the end, Hamish played his music. He played a beautiful song, Come On Home. And the men sat down on the ground. It was a hot sun, really bloody hot sun. And we could see tears flowing down some of the men's eyes because we had just gone in there and just seen them for these great, fun guys. And we could see their pain and we could feel their pain. And in the end, I mean, we got an incredible standing ovation. And that wasn't the point. The point was they gave us an amazing gift. And that was the gift to see people as they truly are, to see the spirit of who they are. And we have a few photos. They wouldn't share the videos for obvious reasons, but we have a few still photos of these men. And yeah, it's beautiful. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Yeah. And I just want to share one other thing. When Hamish and I went to the Andaman Islands, we met the director of all the shipping. And as soon as he heard what we were doing, he said, "Oh, I want you to come and meet my group of men and women." And we met half of them. So there was 44 because I couldn't do more than 44 in the room that they had. Four women and the rest of the men. Okay. And we started by, laughter and then juggling. I juggle scarves, as you know. We were juggling scarves and creating things. And then I do, as but I'll share with your audience something called Nandri Bhumi, where we bend down and we honor Mother Earth and we bring the essence of Mother Earth through the soles of our feet. It goes up through our whole body, through our legs. I can see you stretching. And it comes up through our spine into our heart. Beautiful, beautiful. It comes up through the top of our head and we release it and we feel it coming down. And then it takes longer than that in real time. And then we give ourselves a big hug and we go, I love me. Now, can you imagine these military guys in their army fatigues, but their gym fatigues, doing this, and all of them, and the four women going, I love me. And initially, I was a little nervous about doing it with these guys. And then I thought, wow, why would I be nervous? Because they want to be loved like everybody else. And then a few weeks later, when we came back to the Andamans, Hamish, I get lost whenever I walk somewhere, but Hamish knows where we are. So we're walking and we see this, person in the distance, and there's like a little booth that's there and it's sort of armed. I said, "Hey, I don't think we should go down there." No, 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 let's not go down there. And he said, "That's one of our students." I said, "No, no, 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 no." And sure enough, we walked down and this guy, there was traffic behind us. We were walking, there's traffic, and this guy came up and said, "Madam, madam, sir, sir, I'm your student, I'm your student." And he stopped the traffic for about 7 minutes and spoke to us and was just over the moon. And this was about maybe 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks later. And it meant so much to him. And so this is the power that I think of love, whether it's with the military or whether it's with prisoners or babies or my beautiful clown babies like you.
For me, one thing it really brings out is when you think of a clown, you don't know it. You think a clown has on the makeup and a mask, but actually the clown create this field that you can put down your mask and that you can, just be human, like you said, and just the pure essence. Because at this point, it didn't matter if it's a military guy or prisoner or this guy or that, because it was not about what they did or how they live. It was just about them being a human, being alive, being themselves. I had tears in my eyes when you told the story with the prison, because it's so, wow, okay, there's like hope for humanity to really, look at each other's eyes and just be ourselves.
We are very much ourselves when we allow and we give the other person permission, right? And it's giving permission to be who we are. And when we look at a baby or we look at a little toddler, they're clowns. For God's sake, you look at them and you go, oh my gosh, what a clown. And they don't have any makeup on. They don't have these big shoes, unless, of course, they've decided to put their mom or dad's shoes on and they're like, clomping around and falling and whatnot. And they giggle and laugh and roll on the floor. That to me is clown. And they know who is authentic and who's not. I mean, I don't know if I did this exercise with you, but when we walk out in the forest and you look at everything as if it's the very first time that you are seeing it. And kids will take a dump and they'll take their shit and they'll squeeze it and feel it and they love it. They fall in love with the stinky stuff, right? And we all go, oh, yuck, gross. But they take it because everything is new and wonderful and they smear it all over their bodies. But yeah, so that's another element of clown is if we look at it through the eyes of a child, not childish, but through the eyes of a child. And if we allow ourselves to be love and to share love and to be fun, to be silly, right? Just to be.
We did so many different things. It also felt like that the program you created when we did the MediClown training, it was so it has so many aspects. I felt like it was so, from musical stuff, like we worked on our voice and singing and free flow dancing, and also a lot theater elements like improv theater, a lot with like
Mhm.
non-verbal. This is also something which was really profound for me to see, to really intuit and follow an intuition and not, yeah, it's again about not about talking now, oh, you are now this person, I'm this, but really just tuning in and see and let the scene evolve, or let evolve what's happening. Because I always felt like it got so magical when we could really tune in and be present. And as soon as we started talking, it mostly, it was not that good. Which was also really such an deep experience for me to, trust more this presence and not just, oh, I think I maybe should now do this and then throw that, and really tune in and feel the room and the interaction, the other people, myself, what comes up. And it's incredible what kind of magic's happening in this presence and in this improvisation, because that's, yeah, something I remember we did a lot, which is, I guess, yeah, like you said, the presence. It's so important for the clown to feel the room and see what's needs to be expressed, like what do I want to express, or what does the other person support.
And I think that's why the breath is so important, right? Because, I mean, what happens if you stop breathing? You die, right? I mean, hello, or, you stop breathing and it's all of a sudden you gasp, right? And so when we have that breath and we intentionalize that breath and we connect that breath with the earth, with the sky, and with our environment. So the clown for me, when I go into a space, I breathe in the environment. I breathe in right now. I have the privilege of seeing you on screen right now as we're doing this podcast, but I can breathe you in. I can breathe the smile. I can breathe the eyes. I can breathe everything in. And what I breathe in, I breathe out. And we talked about this a little earlier. It's breathing in the love and exhaling that love. And, when we're angry, we breathe in anger and we exhale anger. And then I can, with your audience right now, just try it for a moment where, just get really pissed off with something, really angry and breathe in. Do you feel like it doesn't go anywhere? It's like, oh, and now just release it and shake it out. And now just breathe in with love. Just breathe in. And allow that. Mm. And then it lends itself to whatever comes next. It might be laughter, it might be tears, but sometimes those tears are tears of joy. Yeah. And deep sorrow, but to allow.
So I'm always thinking about, having something really practical for the audience, or something how they can start, because now, it's not like everyone has MediClown workshops around their corner or anything. If we want to, incorporate more of that joy and that play in our daily lives, how can we start?
That's a really good question. And as a matter of fact, what we are starting to do is we are going online with some of these clowning things. And in fact, one of the most delightful things that ever happened was during lockdown. One of my initial students from 9 years ago from future school in Oroville happened to be in Italy and saw this and came on. And oh my God, what a thrill it was to have her back and to realize that, we might be miles apart, but in a Zoom room or in, where are we, Zencaster, wherever, WhatsApp, Facebook, that we have this connection. So we're exploring that. So I'll let you know about that. So if anyone wants to come in on a call, on a session, we can do that. But for right now, I think the thing is, let's just take in a deep breath. And as you're taking a deep breath, just think of something that brings you joy, whatever that might be. Being with someone that you love, might be being by yourself. I know you love animals, being with dogs, being with kitty cats. Just imagine that and feel that in your heart. And let's take a deep breath in to the count of 4 and hold that and feel that, because when you hold it, it resets it. And now exhale and exhale love. Beautiful. And let's do that one more time. Breathing it in, allowing yourself to smile and holding. And exhale. It's always good to do things in threes. One last time, and then we'll do something else. Breathe it in. Make it the biggest smile you possibly can. You can open your eyes or not. And this time, release it on an ah. Ah. And now breathe it in. Just go. Ah. Let's do it
Ah.
again.
Mm.
Ah.
Ha. You're yeah.
And take a deep breath in.
Oh God.
Oh my God, or oh my God, or whatnot. But when we start to laugh, it becomes contagious, especially when we're with people we
Mhm.
love. And I love you, you know. And that's one small thing that you
Hmm.
can do by yourself. I mean, there's also other things in terms of clown. It can be when you walk out, look at people from your heart. And from your heart, just say, I love you. Ooh, and you love me, even if you have no idea. It's your own personal little space, right? And you don't necessarily want to go out and saying, I love you out loud to everyone on the street. You don't know who's out there. But yeah, I know. But you can protect yourself and you can, I mean, sometimes what I was doing when I was just starting out is I would look at people and I would imagine them as someone they're not. Or maybe you've done this where you go to a restaurant and you see two people and you're imagining their conversation and you're having the conversation in your head about those two people. And it can be wonderful, it can be funny, it can be horrible, but it's kind of interesting to do that and then pull back and reflect on what you saw and how you could make it more fun, right? It's a little more advanced technique, but it's a little quirky when we do that. But there's so many ways to bring joy. I mean, bringing joy is more important than bringing in clown, right? Because clown equals joy, joy equals clown. So if you think of that, and it's gratitude, being grateful for this beautiful smile that you have, looking at yourself in the mirror and looking deeply and going, "Oh my God, is that a zit? Oh my God." And laughing about the pimple or the zit that you have, right? Or, "Oh my God, my hair stands on end." And taking that and make it even bigger than life. So if your hair is stupid, make it look even more stupid. And I mean, your audience can't see me right now, but for the last week, actually since New Year's, I've got these $1.99 Harry Potter glasses and I wear them all the time. And I wear yellow rubber boots because it makes me feel happy. So wear what makes you feel happy. Listen to music that makes you feel happy. Give gratitude and share it. Share it. Yeah. In fact, as soon as you get off this call or this podcast, why not send something to someone? Actually, send three things. Send something to three people. Just saying, "Hey, I just thought of you, and it makes me feel so happy when I think about you," and give them one example of what makes them happy, what makes me happy. So for me, it could be I'm sending a little email or a WhatsApp message to you. And I say, "Hey, Alina, you know what? It just makes me so happy that you reached out to me and it brought back so much joy of those whatever 3, 4, 5 months that we spent together in Oroville 3 years ago before lockdown. Thank you so much for that." And that brings me joy. And I'm hoping it will bring you joy that I've sent that email.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it can be so simple, and but I feel like yeah, we need to remind ourselves a lot. Or I just observed that a lot in my life and in people around me, and it's just so great to always bring just a little moment back to that joy or that gratitude, and can be just really a really simple little thing, and that can already change a lot.
No, absolutely. And, and some of it is, programming yourself where you say, every time I click my pen, I'm going to remember to smile. Or you set your alarm on your phone, or I don't know who wears a watch these days, but on your phone or your watch, where every hour there's just a small little ding, or a very little brrr, or something, a little quack quack, where it's not obstructive to anyone, but you can hear it or you can feel it vibrate, and you just go, "Whoo! I remember. I need to smile." And wherever you are, at least have an internal smile, and then you just build upon it. Or you say, every time I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'm going to make an effort to smile at the cashier and say, "Wow, I'm so glad I got this bucket of ice cream. Want to come to my house and share?" And they'll laugh immediately. They'll go, "Yeah, okay." Or the person who's behind you, you can say, "Wow, I'm coming to your place for dinner tonight." But it catches them completely off guard, and more often than not, actually, every time I've done it, they kind of laugh and go, "Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?" You know? But there's a 30-second relationship that you have developed, and you can bet that they're gonna go, "Wow, that kinda made me feel good." So those are a few things that you can do, micro things in the moment.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So nice. Mm. So one thing we also did like in the MediClowning program was Dream Builder, which was all about also setting intentions, looking at limiting beliefs and everything.
Mhm.
I would love to ask you the question, which was always the last question of the session. And I wrote it down because I looked at it recently because I still have this workbook where I wrote what I envision. And it says, let's close this lesson today by listing 5 things you would love to do, be, have, give, or create if age, gender, time, money, education, and experience were not restrictions.
Mhm.
So maybe, or tell me 2 or 3 things you want to be or do if there's like no limits.
Oh, there's nothing more wonderful, Alina, than having someone that I've shared all this with echo it back to me. So you have given me such a beautiful, beautiful gift. Thank you so much. So I think right now in my life, what I want to see more than anything is Hamish on Broadway. He's working on this magnificent show, and he's in the living room right now rehearsing, and I have to go in and direct him. Um, but yeah, to see him on Broadway in a few places in the States, we've done it in India, we've done it in a few places in Europe, but for him to be at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater with me there on opening night, and whew, at the end, everyone, all of us stand there and give him a standing ovation. So that is what I would love. The other thing is to be able to fly back to Oroville, which I will do in the next few months. But yeah, to fly back to my heart, my home, my heart that's there, and to have another workshop. Another thing that I just would love to do is to be able to travel around the world and do workshops, like weekend workshops, like anywhere from a half day to like a 5 day deep dive with what you guys did in 6 months or 5 months, but not with all the business end of it. That was like, oh my God, let's just do the clowning and the exercises. But I would love to travel around the world and do that. And, we've been to Mexico, we've been to Cuba, we've been to a few other places where there's beaches, and to do that. So that is something. And what's really deep and close to my heart is I was born in Tanzania, and my cousin, who has just been so gracious, uh, for her birthday in 2 years, I would love to gift her and Hamish and my sister and my niece and nephew a safari to East Africa, a luxury safari where we're there for 3 weeks together, just absorbing where I was born and where I lived for the first 5 years of my life. So these are some of the things. And then, of course, I want to come and see you. And I would love to have a reunion of our little group. And even if it's on Zoom, it would be really beautiful. And I'm thinking that let's do that. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, be lovely. So that's where I'm at. Thank you for asking.
So, is there anything else you want to share before we end this session?
As we launch into this new year, I would just love for everyone to remember and give thanks for who you are, no matter where you've come from, whether it's abject poverty or abuse or being very privileged. We all share these things, and let's come together in laughter and joy and happiness and peace, and let's build community. Let's build community and let's share. Let's share. And Elena, I don't have it with me right now, but I would love to share with you the new website of what we're doing and have people come in and let's say, oh, let's give them a special deal. Oh, let's do that. Let's give that makes us happy. Let's give everyone who comes in on Alina's podcast, we'll give them a beautiful special gift, a deal where you can come in and bring someone or whatever, or a great deal. But yeah, let's create community and let's start this. Let's start this in Germany. I have another dear friend who has soul luxury there, and let's see what we can do together. But what a beautiful way to start my afternoon and to go into my rehearsal now with Hamish. Thank you.
I hope you found a little bit more joy through this episode and, yeah, an allowance to express your inner clown a bit more. And if you're interested in an online workshop of MediClowning, then just contact me and I will let you know. as soon as it's online. So have a wonderful day full of love, laughter, and joy.